In the beginning, there was Adam, Eve, Sky Daddy, and a fruit that would be used to plunge the world into a state of apocalypse. Then one day, Sky Daddy said, "You know what, son? Go down there and help those humans." And through Sky Daddy Jr., we were given the chance to meet Sky Daddy when Sky Daddy Jr. decides to pay us a return visit. Simple, right? That is, if you can tell which Sky Daddy Jr. is the real Sky Daddy Jr. Hey guys, it's me again. So I realized while editing this video that I forgot to record an intro. So yeah, this is me recording the intro. Hey guys, what's up? It's booyahthestar, aka me, and welcome back to the channel. As you read by the title of today's video, for this video I will be giving my hot take on what I think about religion and also sharing my personal story about why I think the way I think about what I think about. So make sure you guys stick around to the end. If you like the video, as always, don't forget to like the video and also try and drop your thoughts below in the comments. Okay, that really means a lot. I'm gonna leave this intro here. I don't want it I don't want it to be too long. Yeah, yeah, I don't want it to be too long, so I'm gonna cut it here. So my journey with religion started when I was born. It was kind of a canon event when you're born into a first generation immigrant family whose black parents' upbringing revolved mostly around the church. And my parents have told me the story enough times for me to memorize it. So I'm gonna be telling it to you guys. So my parents were originally Roman Catholic, born and raised, and one day they decided, you know what, let's move to South Africa, in search of a better life for the kids. When they arrived, and I think this was around the time they were pregnant with me, my parents were looking for a church, and they were mainly looking for it in hopes that their kids, aka me, would come to love God just as they have. Noble pursuit. And so they attended this one church, which is like around where they lived, and they stuck around till the end of the sermon. Like, normal people just to see what the church is about. And at the end of the sermon, the pastor approached my father and told him, "Hey, look, I know that you're new here, but like, if you were to stay in the church and you need a job, I can make sure like I can get it for you, I'm connected like that." Well, if you look at it, that was a bribe, obviously. And my father was smart enough to see that. And safe to say, they left our church. Now, fast forward a few more failed churches and my birth. That's when my mother started to, desperately pray that they would be able to find a church. And I guess the prayer was like next in line at God's factory or something. Because tell me why a few days later, we were visited by members of this church, a certain church, that we would ultimately join till this day. And I'm gonna stop the story there, okay? Don't worry, I'm gonna continue it at the end to finish it off. I won't leave you guys in a cliffhanger. I'm not that kind of person. But now, when I think about the story, I can't help but like Lowkey link that church to some sort of cult, okay? Because I mean, the whole act of how the pastor is like, if you stay, I can hook you up with a job. It sort of shifted the church's point from loving God to loving what a pastor can provide for you. And thinking about cults, when I think about them, I can't help but think of religious psychosis. And I feel like religious psychosis is one of those terms that keeps getting thrown around everywhere. So I'm gonna do you guys a favor and define it for you. So, according to Google, religious psychosis is a descriptive term for a psychotic episode in which a person's break from reality is heavily focused on spiritual or religious themes. Now, religious psychosis can affect anyone. And more importantly for this video, This psychosis can affect anyone with a phone and social media. Into conspiracy theories, online cults, and just plain people who want to take advantage of others. I mean, look at last year when rapture talk was probably the most searched term on TikTok. And if you don't know what a rapture talk is, or well, was, it was basically this whole thing of when the rapture, Sky Daddy Jr. making his second debut, was gonna happen on September 23rd or 24th of 2025.
I don't even know what to do at this point. I gave my house away. I gave away my savings. I gave away everything because the rapture was supposed to happen. All I have is literally this trash bag that is everything I own. Besides this car, I have nothing. I don't even have a job because I quit. As many of you know, the rapture's on Tuesday. I've given away all of my earthly possessions to the heathens that I know will not be coming with us, the chosen ones. I've already transferred the deed to my house. I just need to give this car away. None of this material stuff is going to matter on Tuesday, the 23rd, when I get raptured. And I just want to say, it's not too late for you to be a part of the rapture.
The people who thought the rapture was going to happen. It was like a few months ago, towards the end of 2025. There was like a whole wave on TikTok. Everyone's like, oh my God, the rapture is going to happen. The rapture. They were like prepping. They were leaving like little notes in their house for the people left behind. I think one lady surrendered her kids to CPS, if I recall correctly. She kept her dog, but surrendered the kids to CPS. She didn't think the kids were going to make it, but she took the dog. Has anyone checked in on those people? Where are they now? Because I remember when the rapture didn't happen, they were like, oh, we got the date wrong. It's happening next week. It's happening next week. Obviously, next week came and went, and there wasn't no rapture. And I forgot about it. But I was just thinking about it now. Like, what are they doing? Like, are they just chilling? Do they think it didn't happen, or do they think it did happen and we were all just left behind? Like, what was going on? That was such a brief moment of mass psychosis. Like, what the hell was that?
And did it happen? Well, it is July of the next year, so I'll tell you when it does happen. Don't worry. I'll tell you when it does happen. And according to the very long history of the internet, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. The rapture was supposed to happen multiple times before, okay? I mean, religious influences have been talking about this. And I have to say that the pattern that these conspiracies and speculations spread is something that we are all very familiar with. It normally starts off with one person, whether unironically or not, they decide to make up things in their head, connecting with an invisible line of red yarn. Then that same person decides, hey, this Lowkey makes sense. And if anyone disagrees with me, they're just trying to go against me. Purely egotistical, by the way. Then that same person decides, wait, this information is too good to be kept by myself. I have to obviously spit it out. And then bam, you have a viral video with hundreds of thousands of likes, shares, comments, views, talking about how God is supposedly water. The same videos actively wasting water by using AI to talk about how God is exacting that it's wasting.
Now this is scary. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but there's a theory going around. It's more like a religious theory. I saw a TikTok video where a preacher was talking and he spoke about something very interesting idea. What if God is actually water? Think about it for us.
What if water is God?
Then that would mean God is both in us and all around us. That God is both above and below us. Why a woman's water breaks when we're born.
But there's more. We often say that God is everything. Well, if that's true, then everything around us would be what? Water. There's water in the air even though we can't see it. There's water inside you, inside me, and in every living thing. Now consider places where water is scarce, like deserts or wastelands. What do you usually find there? Death, because of the lack of water, and it's scorching, like hell. Here's something else. In the Bible, when Jesus was tempted by the devil, where was he? In the desert. He was searching for water.
And the funny thing is, actually, it's not that funny when you think about it. It's more concerning. Is that there's people out there who will believe this and believe even crazier things just because media literacy rates, heck, even literacy rates themselves are so low. I mean, people are out here believing everything and anything they see on the internet. And even worse, they're spreading it around for others. Lowkey, it reminds me of those videos where they were like, at the end, like after you're done watching the videos, they would be like and comment if you like Jesus, and scroll if you love the devil. Like, bro, when I tell you I was dead terrified that if I like scroll without liking and commenting, that the devil would come in my sleep and just like kidnap me or something. Like, I was so scared. And something else I want to cover about these religious influences was that most of the time, their content that they're focusing on doesn't even like use their religious books. They just flab a bunch of words, and then as a cherry on top for any non-believers, they throw in a quote that doesn't even have anything to do with the context of the video in the slightest. It's like they throw it in there and they're like, oh, so, and now what? What you gonna do about it? You're saying I'm wrong? If you're saying I'm wrong, you might as well just say God himself is wrong. In this day and age, you don't even see this online only anymore, where it's just like a bunch of like random ones and zeros and codes. When I tell you, I can give you a Bible verse on literally anything from a mug to a t-shirt to a stylish tote bag. And why? Because of this wonderful thing called capitalism. And in simple terms, capitalism would be the action of someone profiting off of basic human needs or desires for their own personal gain. And I have like the funniest example of this, bro. Like, even thinking about it makes me want to laugh. Basically, there was this girl on my feed on TikTok where she was like vlogging the experience at a new church, and my god, okay, no pun intended for this video, was that shit something. They even forced her to buy one of those like reflective vests that you see on the construction workers. The whole thing behind that was that if Jesus were to come back, like for the rapture, like the real rapture, and he would see like a bunch of people in those like green reflective vests, he would be like, yeah, you guys come with me, everyone else, tough luck. And so I'm just thinking about, imagine like you were doing laundry that day and that reflective vest is like in the washing machine, and Jesus so happened to decide to pay like a visit. It's like, would he leave you behind because the vest is in the like the washing machine, or are you just gonna have to like take it out, like put it on stanking, like wet and everything, and just like fly up?
Sometime last year, I decided to go to a church called the Lord's Chosen Charismatic Revival Ministries. I am a choosing. I got there very early, and the ushers were so friendly. They led me into the auditorium. I looked around. Almost everyone is wearing green. I continued going, and then someone stopped me and said I can't go in that direction. I said, why? They said, because I'm with a man. I think it's like an abomination for men and women to sit together in this church. Finally, I got to my seat. And even though I looked like I was questioning my life choices, I was genuinely happy to be there. I watched the children's choir sing, and it was so cute. Until this woman appeared, and by the time she was done with me, bro, there was a scarf on my head, man. But like, she didn't stop there. She convinced me to buy the green apron that everyone was wearing for 1,500 naira only. Nice one, mama. Nice one.
Oh my god, it's not funny.
And I feel like Lowkey, this is on the same scale as like mega churches. You know those churches where it's like you look at a video of it and it looks more of like a private indoor concert than like an actual church sermon. And whatever advice from me on this would be, if you are going to a church and they are selling merch, which is most likely gonna be really expensive, and you are like forced to buy it, run. Pack it up and run. Run away. Run away. Run as far and as fast as your two legs can take you.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
And something else I wanted to cover, and this is moving away from the capitalism stuff, is very much the facade of choice you are given in, I'd say, most religions. And to put it into words that make it more like easier to understand, I mean that it's very much easier to join most religions than it is to leave those same religions. It's like in the beginning, like when you join, it's like, oh, you were blessed by God Himself. Like He was able to lead you down the right path to be able to join this religion, you know, you were just blessed. But God forbid you want to leave. Okay, no pun intended on that God forbid part. Like, God forbid you want to leave because, like, you don't think this church is for you or you don't really feel the belief system kicking in. Dude, that's the devil. Okay, that's the devil, like, whispering in your ear. He's whispering right here.
Oh, are you new to the neighborhood? Well, I thought I'd just swing by and bring you your favorite cookies. How did I know that? I'll never tell. It's been a few weeks since we've seen you at church. Thought I'd stop by with those favorite cookies of yours. See what's up. I'm so glad you found the truth. You belong here. It's not for you? If there's anything you need at all, just let us know. We'll do it. No, I can't see you anymore. I like to be around people that affirm my faith. But I'll never say that to your face. That feeling? You're feeling the spirit. That feeling? You're being deceived. Satan. Wow, what a powerful testimony. You never had a testimony, did you? The church is perfect. The church isn't perfect. You can ask anything you want. Why are you focusing on that? We've taught you everything that we know about the church. Where did you hear that? Have you been reading things online? I've been praying that God would reveal it to you. And look, you're here at church today. You left and now you're sharing your experiences online? I'll pray for you.
If you think about it, it's almost like you never had a choice to begin with, whether you join or leave that said religion. Because it's like, if you join, that was God's will. If you left, that was the devil's will. And it's just like you're a bystander in your own life decisions. Well, not even your own life decisions at that point. And I feel like the way these like church communities and church leaders get you to stay even after you expressed a feeling of wanting to leave, that can be described as nothing less than like manipulation. Especially in this day and age where religious cults are running more rampant. So you can almost see religion morphing from a form of love and appreciation for a higher power or your creator into a tool used by almost anyone to judge, manipulate, and control others, as well as spread more hate than love to those on the outside and others who belong to other religions or cultures. And I feel like the whole thing of like, oh, you can't leave, that's the devil talking, is one of the contributing factors to most religious trauma cases. It's like you don't want to be in a certain type of environment or situation or setting and you're being told that you can't leave because you're not the one who wants to leave. And then afterwards you're being told like, oh, you should just like pray about it, like reconsider your decision and think about staying rather than thinking about leaving. The thing is, you're most likely not gonna want to stay. And then comes the part where you have to pretend like you enjoy being in this place that you don't want to be in, Okay, don't mind me on this because this is like a little personal for me. You'll see why later. Now that we're like at this part, I want to get into the reason I actually made this video in the first place. And before you say anything, no, the views are not getting low, okay? I have that under control. I very much have that under control. That is not the reason. But the main reason is, and this is jokes aside, is because like I've been getting a lot of, I'd say, deconstruction content on my For You pages, and it's mainly religious deconstructing. And I've been watching them because I feel like I've been getting a lot more than usual. And I feel like I've been watching them because for me, I'd say the internet and social media is sort of like my safe space when it comes to talking about like religious related content, because, and this is me like being completely honest with you guys, I want to say that I'm not really religious, and when it comes to religion, I'd say that I'm more religious in the sense that I do believe in God, and what I view God as is I view him as a coping mechanism, you know? The world is a really big place. It's a really big place, and every day is a new day, and it comes with its own new challenges. And I really find comfort in the fact that I don't have to focus on the challenges and the problems that are out of my control. Because there's some force out there that loves me unconditionally and that like I can run to whenever I have a problem with anything. And I feel like anyone around me wouldn't understand like the problems I'm going through. Yeah, I'd say that basically sums up my definition of religion and what it means to be religious, and it's nothing more or nothing less than that. I will say it did take me a long time to actually find my own definition of what religion meant to me and step away from the traditional indoctrination where you just like given information and then no place to process and like think about it or like analyze what you're being told, because if you question it in any way whatsoever, you're just gonna be like seen as the bad guy and rebellious. And in my opinion, I feel like religious deconstruction really gives you that space you need to like analyze and think about the information you're being presented with. It helps you reach a conclusion on said information, and then that conclusion in turn helps you think about like how you want to move forward with your life with the information you were given in the beginning.
You are not misreading the title. God is literally filling this hairspray up as I use it. Okay, here's the deal. I am a widowed mom of 5. I also am technically disabled.
Depressed people are ungrateful people. Yes. You're always down, you're always sad, you're always depressed. It's because you're ungrateful. If you're grateful in your spirit, heaviness can't stay.
Now, for the part you've all been waiting for, I am gonna finish the story that I started in the beginning. Okay, but I feel like we're gonna need to like change the setting a bit. Let's go. So here's the new ooh, but I thought it was gonna fall. So here's the new angle. Okay, I would low-key wanted to do a fit check, but then I was like, that's gonna be inappropriate. But okay, we're busy talking about trauma, and you want to show off the swag, like no. But anyways, I have my laptop in front of me because I Lowkey, not Lowkey, I wrote my notes on here, so I'll just like say it out loud. Back to the story. So where I last left off of the story was where I said that we joined a church, okay? And I'm not gonna say the name of the church because, legal stuff and all that, and I also don't want problems in my personal life, so we're gonna leave that out. But I'm gonna be generous and give you guys a clue. And the clue is that one scene from Twilight where I forgot what her name is. Was her name like Belle? Becky? I forgot. It was that one scene where they asked Edward, like, how old are you? And then he was like, I'm 17. But how long have you been 17?
How old are you?
17.
How long have you been 17?
A while.
Okay, and if you don't get that, I'll give you like another clue. It's like, what do you need to be able to turn from 17 to 18? You got that? Yeah, I don't have it. So yeah, that's your clue. That's your clue. Back to the serious stuff. I'd say my family has been part of this religion for 15 years now, around 15 years. And because like we joined back when I was 4 years old. And I'd say ever since I was in the age range of like 10 to 12 years old, I genuinely felt like I didn't want to be part of this religion. Mainly because of the fact that it did take up like so much effort and energy that I felt we were asking a child to do. Every Thursdays we go for evening church, like evening service, and then on Saturdays we'd like wake up early in the morning to go knock on people's door, talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the normal stuff. And then on Sundays we'd go to like normal service, and yeah, that's cool, that's cool, normal stuff. Until you factor in the thing of, actively going to school Monday to Friday every single week, and then you add in Saturday and Sunday, which like I also have to wake up early, and then you have to add in the academic pressure that I'm getting from at home, where you have parents that want you to excel in everything. Meanwhile, you don't even have time for yourself. Okay, so yeah, I'd say that it was incredibly taxing. But other people find ways to deal with it. Like, I can't blame them. But personally, for me, like, I didn't like it at all. And safe to say, I got really fed up with, like, living that certain type of way. And it reached its peak around when I was 17. This is last year. Okay, it reached its peak last year, like after I just came out of high school, and like I've been thinking about it before I graduated high school. After I just came out of high school, I was like, hey, maybe like I can actually like talk to my parents about it and see if maybe I can get like a break or something from all of this, just to like focus on myself, like center myself and see what I actually want to do. And mind you, I've been feeling this way for like almost like around 6, 7, 6, 7. I've been feeling this way for like around 6, 7 years. And this is one of the few times I genuinely decided to be open with my parents because, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat this, I'm not really that close with my parents. With that in mind, I'd say 17-year-old me was a bit delusional because I'd say I spend most of my time at home, so I know how my parents like react to certain things and how they act in response to some stuff. So I don't know why I was like, okay, this is like maybe gonna go down cool, like they're gonna be chill about it. Okay, spoiler alert, I was dead wrong. And being serious about this, I'd really say that That conversation was the worst conversation I've ever had with him. Like at this point, I can't even call it a conversation because it was just like an argument, like to say the least. Like after I opened up and showed a bit of like vulnerability, it was just really weird to see how I was met with like so much like insults. Like I remember I was called stupid and like that I didn't know what I was doing with my life and that I'd probably end up a drug addict, most likely in prison by the age of I don't know how long, like in my teenage years. And basically to say like I'd end up as a criminal. And to top it off, some guilt tripping was actually involved. I remember my mom didn't even want to talk to me for like a few days after that conversation. Much less be in the same room as me. When I would used to come down into like the living room to get something to eat, and when I used to sit down and eat, she would like literally get up from where she was and then just like bolt to her room like just to get away from me. And if we did stay in the same room, it was like so silent, like no one talked to anyone. And then I remember the only time she spoke to me was after we had like a Sunday service. Like we went to church on a Sunday and then she wasn't there. She went to work. And then when she came back, the first thing she said to me, okay, this is like after like I'd say like 4 or 5 days of the silent treatment. The first thing she said to me was like, "Oh, how was the service?" And yeah, bro, that actually broke me because I was thinking about how insensitive that was because like I literally opened my heart to you a few days before and then you acted like completely immature. I was like being so insensitive about it, and then you come to ask me about the same thing that I said like I don't want to be a part of. Like that's the first thing you said to me, and in the moment I just remember thinking like, wow, if I were to tell her like the truth about how I felt, like the whole thing of like how insensitive it was for her to like ask such a thing after like days of not speaking to me because like I opened up my heart to her, I was like, wow, I'd actually like look like the bad guy in this situation. I genuinely look like the bad guy in her eyes. I didn't want us to go through that again because I didn't want it to like affect the family dynamic, like to get anyone else involved. So what did I do? Okay, like a normal peacemaker, bro, I lied. I lied and I was like, yeah, the service is fine. Like in that exact same monotone, I was like, the service is fine. And then just like ended the conversation right there because quite frankly, I didn't have the energy or the mental capacity to hold a conversation like after thinking about that because when I think about it, it's like, oh, if you want to be insensitive about this issue that I opened up to you about, why can't I do the same? Like I'll reflect your attitude back to you, like bro. So after I said the service is fine, I just ended the conversation right there, and then I left to go to my room. Like I went upstairs, chilled in my room, listened to some music, and like tried to get that whole interaction out of my head. And and that's gonna be like the end of this story. Okay, there's more stories like that. Unfortunately, this isn't the only one. This is not the only one. Okay, there's more. There was. Whew, I low-key want to give you like a little inkling to the next ones, but nah, I'm gonna leave it. Okay. Otherwise, you generally have to call like CPS. Yeah, but anyways, like I was saying, there's more stories like that. This isn't the first time, like, genuine parental love from your caregivers is like, from my caregivers was dangled in my face, like, in the hopes that I'll stay in a situation I don't want to be in. And it almost seemed like it was a way to get like my obedience in like a controlling manner, like a really controlling manner. But you know, like I said, I'm gonna save the stories for another video because this video is already longer than what I'm comfortable with. Before I end the video off, I just want to say a few more things. I want to clarify my stance, okay? I know like I'm making this video on just trauma and how religion affects some people and how it's like messed up in some sort of way. I want to clarify that religion is a beautiful thing, okay? Like the concept of genuine appreciation for God and your creator or like anything else you believe in, that's nothing short of beautiful. That is to say though that personally I believe that your relationship with your creator or whatever you believe in should be between you and your creator. No one should come in between that. There should be like no in between, no hogs, no someone coming in like telling you and dictating you like, oh, you should do this and this because this is how I worship. No, it's between you and your creator. Between you two. No one in between. You two, okay? Very sacred relationship. And I just want to acknowledge that everyone's journey with religion is different. Okay, that's something I feel like everyone should be acknowledging more rather than telling people they should worship the way so and so worships because that's the most accurate way. Everyone's relationship with God is gonna be different. And another piece of advice, if you guys ever feel like you just like wanna navigate your life like spiritually to see like where are you going from this point onwards, do some deconstruction, okay? Do some deconstruction, reflection, meditation. It really helps out a lot. And try to find out which parts of the information that you're hearing that you actually resonate with and that you actually feel like, hey, this is like giving me a positive insight on life. I really believe that the strongest relationships are the relationships where you don't feel like you're trapped or you're being forced to do something that you don't want to do. And I know some people see this whole thing of deconstruction and, you know, questioning what you're being taught as being rebellious. But in all honesty, people who take the step of deconstruction, myself included, okay, we're not being rebellious. We're just looking for a place where our relationship with a higher power isn't attached to a price tag, comes with conditional love, or a strict schedule. But hey, that's just me and my 2 cents. But let me know a bit about your guys' religious upbringing in the comments. Like, are there any stories you guys want to tell me? Because I will be checking the comments, okay? You guys are like really entertaining, not gonna lie. And if you like the video, obviously don't forget to like the video along with hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos like this one or any of my next videos. Now with that said, I will see you guys in the next video and peace. Well, I can do it properly now. Like, how do you hit the wall? Like, peace.
I'm the roommate of the Jesus is filling my hairspray girl. Let's talk about it. First of all, I'm refilling her hairspray. I started doing this because this girl would like crash out every morning and be like, if God loved me, he wouldn't give me like a rat's nest of hair. If he loved me, he would give me beautiful curls like yours. I don't know why God doesn't love me. And then it turned into, oh, you must be stealing my hair products. So this girl, every time she would run out of something, she'd be like, I ran out way too fast. I didn't use all that. You must have been using it.